Hey everyone, so I'm here backstage in Minneapolis, and as you know, a couple days ago it was Zen's birthday. Well, if you don't know, and you missed the parade of unicorns and rainbows and love hearts that everyone so kindly lavished upon him, then now you know. I think he was very happy with all the social media colourful love that he got. He told me that's exactly what he wanted. He may not have actually said that. I might have just made that up. But we definitely had a lot of fun doing that for him. Anyway, so what I thought was that I would share a quick story about Zen, seeing it's his birthday week. Because him and I, we do go way back. And all the way back to September 2003. Now, one of the things that has kind of seeped into our fan base is the idea that, you know, Zen is actually an immortal vampire. And so that was something that was just joked about. And one of the reasons was that we never ever saw him sleep, ever. And so he just doesn't sleep that much. So he was always the last person to go to bed on tour, and he's always the first person to wake up. So even when I shared a room with Zen, you know, he'd always still be awake when I would go to bed, and he'd always be awake when I woke up. So it was that thing of like, does he actually ever sleep? It's like, well, maybe not, maybe because he's actually a vampire. So that's kind of where the joke started. And then of course there's his, dashingly, ageless looks, where it kind of seems to have looked about the same for the last 15 years, which also adds to that. Anyways, but one thing that definitely took it to another level was an incident in, when was it? It was in late July in 2015. And basically we were on our European festival tour, and what was happening was we had a bunch of the guys went and stayed down at Benji's parents' house down in Bordeaux, down the south of France, when I think we had about 5 days off between festivals. We had quite a bit of time off. And while some of the guys went there, Zen and I decided we wanted to go spend our time off in Paris, just because we wanted to spend some time there and, see some more sights. So Zen and I were sharing a room, and we had two single beds in the room, in the same room. And one night, so we both go to bed, and then I wake up the next morning, and I look over, and there is this enormous puddle of blood on Zen's bed. I mean, huge, really, really big. And so I get up, and Zen's trying to clean it up. And so I just kind of turned to him and was like, Zen, I know we've been friends for a long time, but, is this one of those moments where you find out that secretly your close friend is actually a serial killer and or a vampire in real life that's been sucking the blood of young maidens across the world, and that you just hadn't had a chance to clean it up. So basically, I'm kind of going, what the fuck is going on? And Zen started to explain that because he'd had a piercing in his lip recently, and his story was that throughout the whole night it was bleeding profusely throughout the night, and he wasn't aware of it, and then he woke up and there was blood everywhere. The only catch with this was that there wasn't any blood on him when I woke up, so he'd obviously cleaned himself up, and there was just what was on the sheets. So I kind of woke up kind of after the fact, wondering what the fuck was going on. Anyways, so the thing I was most concerned about, aside from what happened to the young girl and other jokes like that, that we were making at the time, was holy shit, you really need to warn the housekeepers for this hotel because otherwise they're going to call the cops because it looks like someone has been murdered here. And sure enough, a couple of hours later, I'm off seeing some sights in Paris, and Zen had not let the hotel know at this stage, and one of the staff, from the housekeepers from the room had come in, and they'd seen it, and he was explaining it, blah, blah, blah. But they now wanted to kick us out of the hotel because, there was this huge pool of blood. So, so basically, thankfully, we managed to talk it out with the hotel to not get kicked out. I think Zen got charged for the price of ruining their sheets, I think, from memory, and that was kind of the only negative out of it. But to this day, it was always that thing of like, if he really was a vampire, then that would really be the incident where, there was some, young girl that he'd gotten the best of and had managed to get rid of her before I'd woken up that day. But anyways, so that was just one of those funny things where, obviously it was, just an issue with his lip piercing and whatever, but, we gave him a lot of shit about that for quite a while, just added to the the myth surrounding, Zen, the immortal vampire, that we joke about, amongst ourselves and with you guys as well. Anyway, so that's just one story that you guys wouldn't have heard before, in regards to our good friend Zen. And so thanks for everybody for wishing him such a happy birthday. He does really appreciate it, and especially the calls. And we'll talk to you again soon.